Is every Japanese animated film or anime this beautifully animated? Does everything look this good? Did we start too high is my question.
That's a really good question.
Because I had to watch this movie twice because I didn't pay attention to the story the first time.
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time.
You like
Pizza time.
pizza time?
What's up, Alex? How you doing?
Not much. How are you?
I'm
Good.
all right, man. I'm pretty good. Not bad.
Day two.
Day two. I was gonna say. Day two. For all you don't know, man, we had so much reviews to do this weekend that this is actually day two. This is morning two of us recording this because we just, we're doing our best, man. We're trying to listen to you guys. You're all like, we need more. So we're like, okay.
Yeah. Are we giving them more of what they want? I don't know, but we're giving them more.
But we are giving you more, which is like, I guess can sometimes be a bad thing, but I hope not. You asked for it. So let's see how this goes. But here's the good news. Alex. Today, we do have a special surprise for you all. And that is what we are covering today. And hopefully it is like the start. We're going to proclaim it as the start. We're doing our very first. Oh my God. Dude,
was it a High School Musical song?
It is High School Musical. Don't do that because I'm a big High School Musical fan. Like, you can't just start the song. Oh man, you like lifted that out of me almost. Okay, I'm not gonna indulge in it right now. High School Musical fans unite. But here's a surprise. We are covering our first Japanese film, and it will be our first step into the Japanese film market and review process. All because you guys were like, you should review Japanese movies. Now we're like, yeah, hell yeah, why not? Our little channel here, kind of like, if you haven't noticed, kind of had pushed over into the foreign cinema.
Nobody cares about American movies.
Yeah, especially you guys. That's okay. That's fine. Okay. We hope you do more because we still are definitely going to watch American movies. But we have loved our journey so far into the Indian cinema space. And we're just like, dude, let's just keep going because there's so many bangers over there. There must be bangers everywhere else. And of course, we have watched some Japanese movies, I assume, right, Alex? You have watched already some Japanese movies, but not a lot. No.
Oh. I've never watched an anime. I've never watched a Japanese film. I watched a Japanese series, Alice in Borderland.
One of the best.
Absolutely.
Please watch Alice in Borderland if you haven't.
But no, this is my first Japanese. God. I don't know. Does this go into the anime space? Is this my first anime film?
It is an animated film. It is a Japanese animated film, and it is Your Name. So, and it's his first time ever. So this could be great. It's gonna be fun. I've seen it before. I've seen it before, but I rewatched it again for this review. It's been a second since I watched it. So, but it is Your Name. It is it's a film by Makoto Shinkai. And for those who are, fans of his and the animated space, you are very well versed already, I'm sure, unlike us. But the reason why I chose this movie to start off with is because, well, one, you guys mentioned it in the comments. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But two, because it is one of the highest grossing Japanese films, not just animated films, but highest grossing Japanese films of all time. And I was like, well, what better way to start, at least us, on this journey than that, having a clear banger on the list and going for it. And not only that, I thought it was a nice breakup with like a lot of the live action stuff we've been watching. And it tells the story of, it's a swapping bodies mixed in with a time travel aspect movie about two high school students. Are they high school? They're in
Freaky
school.
Friday meets Back to the Future.
Freaky Friday meets Back to the Future, but completely not those movies.
No, absolutely not those movies at all. That's a terrible way to put that.
No, but still, it very much in those aspects. Yeah, combined those two. These two high schoolers who strangely start swapping bodies. They're not sure quite why. But they start sort of living their lives as each other, and quirkiness and oddities ensue. We will get into spoilers, but I don't want to spoil it yet. But if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's fucking fantastic. And it's like, just on that synopsis alone, I hope that you can go watch it right now. Pause the movie, pause the show, watch it, come back. But that is sort of like the gist of it. But stuff it gets much more deeper than that. It gets immensely emotional. And so I'm just gonna go straight into this. I want to go start with you, Alex, and your interest in the film, because like I have a bit of a bias. Again, I've watched anime. I'm used to it.
You're like, if you could be in Japan at 24/7, you would be in Japan 24/7. That's your bias.
Precisely. But I want everyone to take like this super fresh look and perspective. Someone who's like the first jump ever. And let's start off with you. Do you mind? Like, let's start off.
Sure. I have two questions.
Okay.
One, is every Japanese animated film or anime this beautifully animated? Does everything look this good? Did we start too high is my question.
That's a really good question.
Because I had to watch this movie twice because I didn't pay attention to the story the first time, because I was looking at the animations the whole time going, oh my gosh, this I can't believe how pretty this looks.
Wait, hold on. You watched the movie twice?
I finished the movie and I started it over because I missed so much of the story, because I was like, you know what? I missed what happened there. I'm not sure why they're there. I was like, we can start from the very beginning with the comet and just the colors coming off the comet, and then like there's like that banger of a song that plays as like the intro of the movie goes. I'm like, is this what every anime is about? There's an intro to this movie? That's super cool.
Yeah.
It's like a TV show, but a movie.
It's common. Yeah.
It was really fun.
I'm glad you brought that up just really quick. That is actually just, in terms of anime, that does carry through into the movie. Like a lot of animated shows start off that way. It has like this.
There's like two musical
early
montages.
2000s, late 90s rock.
I mean, hey, I'm all about
that. And hell yeah, exactly. And it's their style, and it kicks off with this montage of stuff, and that's a typical anime. And so that actually did translate to sort of a lot of animated movies as well. Right. So there you go.
So like for starters, like the bar for my animation, like where I set it, is Into the Spider-Verse, which was 2018. It was one of the best animated movies I've ever seen in terms of like animation. And then there's this, which is like next league. So Ed actually sent me a really cool post about how it took like years to make this movie, but it looks so good because he mixes 2D with 3D. And I think I've been on like so many tangents where I talk about how I miss the 2D animation, and like this is just like the perfect mix of both. I think all Disney films look exactly the same now. They suck. Everything looks exactly the same. It's too generic for me.
It's largely computer animated,
right? Yeah, it's all computer animated. It's all like 3D.
Almost gone.
This was like 2D, but like on a next level 2D, and it was just absolutely like the tears that come down their face, or anytime they're using like food, you're just like,
I'm salivating.
How did they make that? Why does that look? Why does something computer animated look good to me? So yeah, all that. First of all, all that was amazing. Right. Second, what a story! Holy hell, that was really clever and fun, and just not what I expected it to be. There's so many like there's a massive twist in the middle of it. And I just wasn't expecting that at all, and I was like, wait, what the? What?
Well, okay. Well, before we go too far into that, I love your reaction. Before to answer your question, your original question, is this too high of a mark? Maybe
I forgot it already.
It's to start with. To be honest with you, a little bit. Sorry, but hey, man, there are some. Don't get me wrong. There's still plenty of amazing animation to go for, but this is definitely at the top. It's but it is. I have to agree with you. Obviously, it's fucking gorgeous. There's a particular sequence later in the show with that has to do with the meteorite too. That's just like, it's one of my favorite animated sequences of any Japanese work I've ever seen. But yes, it is. This is top tier. But again, that being said, there's still plenty to go. There's different still types of styles to go with. But yes, it is one of the best. But I'm so glad that that's the first thing you caught. I cannot believe you watched it again. Like, you were so
twice. Yeah. I mean,
captivated by the visuals itself. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I
rented it, and then I was like, I have 48 hours to watch, and then I just like, you know what, just started over because it was that good. I don't know
if I've ever heard you like do that. Like, watch a movie.
Top Gun Maverick is the only movie I've ever Like
rewatch right away.
The next day I got, which I know you probably did too. The next day I went back and got another ticket to go watch
Right.
it. But it wasn't
Recent
right
memory.
again. Yeah.
Right. Anyway.
I mean, in Spider-Verse I did it. I watched it twice, but it was a week apart. It was a week apart. It wasn't just let me restart it because it was that fun. That like incredible. I could just like I don't even care about the story at this point. Like I just wanted to get lost in the animation.
Right.
That's how much. That's like how beautiful. Like again, first animated thing I've ever seen from Japan.
No, trust me. Yeah. And this is one of the best, but there's still plenty to go. So, but I'm glad that like one of the things that like struck you right away was the visuals because it is what it's really known for a lot.
In 2016, the one that won the Oscar was Inside Out.
Which I love that movie.
I don't like that movie as much.
You don't like that movie? I really liked Inside Out, but this would have been definitely up there, right next to it.
But yeah, it wasn't. I don't know if it was like. I don't even know if it was nominated. I'm trying to find if it was nominated.
But like, wait, Your Name?
Yeah,
I don't believe it was nominated. No, not for an Oscar. No, unfortunately.
Like, did it win like the Japanese version?
It didn't win a bunch of them. Let's see here. I don't know really it won the Crunchyroll Animated Awards.
That's like a big. What is Crunchyroll?
Well, I mean, Crunchyroll is like one of the.
Are they like a studio or?
They're more so a hub for like consolidating all the animated shows to watch. It's like a streaming service mostly. I think they do like their own productions now, but
there was a Japanese film that was nominated, and it was called When Marnie Was There.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. It was nominated that year, 2016.
It was 2016. It is a Japanese film, Japanese animated movie.
Okay.
From Studio Ghibli.
Oh, Studio.
Distributed by Toho.
I haven't even watched that. Yet. That's crazy to know. That this wasn't.
Haley Steinfeld was in the dub cast.
Wow. Well,
maybe they would be 2017 Oscar nominations.
When this came out in August 26, 2016. So, well, I think that's fairly within the Oscar.
No, it wasn't there. Yeah. So it wasn't because it wasn't Your Name. It was that movie, something Marine. I can't remember the name of it. I'm so sorry of it. And then The Red Turtle was nominated in 2017, which is another Studio Ghibli movie.
That's Ghibli. That's crazy that
I said it wrong. Is it's not Ghibli?
You know what? I've heard it's definitely Ghibli, but who
it's Ghibli?
Knows? Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't make the rules. I'm pretty sure it's Ghibli. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I was saying Ghibli since the beginning of time, and then somene's like, "No, it's Ghibli." Okay, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Anyways, let's get back to the movie.
Because I'm glad you were enthralled by the visuals, but you said you also love the story, which we can get into it now. That story, fucking phenomenal. How it goes from like one thing, and just like turns the key, and just lifts off into this supernatural sort of like adventure. Right. Spoilers start now. You find out that they were not living in the same time. That's what a simple, almost simple twist that no one's, I don't know, I haven't really seen that in a while.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's really clever and cool to turn the story on its head like that and take us into a whole different direction. So tell me how you felt about how the rest of the movie came out after that. Like,
like
sweep you like it did me?
Oh yeah, like I think I really liked it from the get-go because like early on it's not hiding that they're switching bodies because the guy wakes up.
It starts off
so Taki wakes up in Mitsuha's body, and like it's him because every morning he wakes up touching her boobs, which is just really funny because every teenage kid would do that.
Absolutely. 100%.
It's really, really funny. And I like that the next scene is actually her waking up. So you're not like fully your little trick, like, oh, we'll get to how weird he was acting, but we'll get to it later. Yeah. And then we'll see her go to his body and him act very weird. And then we'll cut back to him in her body acting weird. So it's like I like this. The constant switching of POVs is really, really fun in my opinion.
And I like that it starts off that way. It like just throws you in. It just throws you into like, them immediately being
no like, time wasted.
No time wasted. You don't have to like really set up anything.
No.
Just that mechanic is already immediately set up. It's immediately intriguing. I love it. I love the screenplay in that way. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I think that's like really, really good and really cool and fun and different, I'd say. And then like once you find out that her town is destroyed and she's essentially dead, you're kind of like, wait, what? Is there a way to like get back? And I thought for sure, I was like, oh my God, it's over. We're going to see the story of this guy being sad for the next 30, 40 minutes. That's what I thought we were going to see.
Right.
And then, like you said, it goes into this like really cool kind of fun supernatural thing where he's able to
the shrine,
and then my favorite part, you know, us being two video editors and, you know, you being more of a videographer guy, I love that they're able to communicate with each other just at magic hour. And it's just that one time, and he kind of like uses that magic hour as magic, and like they have a limited amount of time, and like, you know how hard it is to get magic hour shots. You have just like you have minutes. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, you're right. Here it's like literally magic hour.
Yeah, it's literally magic hour. So, and I love that that's where they're able to connect, and like she's able to get people off and evacuate from the town. It was all just a really, really wonderful experience, I think is the best way I can put it. Like, I mean,
and I want just to talk quickly about that scene. That scene is one of my favorite Japanese scenes. Not everything I've ever watched. It's just when you get to that time where they can actually meet each other, and they're confessing like sort of they're walking around the fact that they love each other. They clearly love each other. And yet they're also in this moment, like there's only a certain amount of time that they can sort of communicate a lot of these things that they need to do. There's this urgency where they have to save the town, and you just like, you're crumbling. You're happy for them, but you're crumbling because you just know this is not going to last. Yeah. It just happens, which is what I love. It doesn't really forecast this moment to you too much.
No,
you don't. It just happens.
You're not really explain to why things are working out the way they are, which is fine. You don't really need to.
You don't need it,
which is great. And then like, you know, when he writes on her hand, he's supposed to write the name, and he ends up writing "I love you," and she finally, like, when she sees it, it's so sweet. And then like as she's trying to write her name, the pen falls. Like that's such a good. The cut. That's such a good cut. Yeah.
The air just gets sucked out of the whole room in that cut, man. Yeah. And I love that edit. Love that edit. It's so good. It's like you're caught up in the scene that goes on for like maybe 3 or 4 minutes. It's like a long scene.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden just negates that for you. Just goes fuck.
And just quiet. It's like just quiet, and it's just the pin hitting the ground.
There's still the movie that's happening.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Such a great edit. Yeah.
That was so good. And, like that was probably my favorite scene of the movie.
Oh yeah,
I think
similar to me too.
Really, really liked it. I mean, I can't believe how like it's a kids movie. Like, why is it so good? Is it a kids movie? Are Japanese anime?
I love that you said that. I love that you said.
Is it supposed to be a kids movie, or is it supposed to be for adults? Like in Japan, are these animated films more for everyone? In America, everything's for kids, man.
I wouldn't dare speak for the Japanese people, but I would think that you probably triggered some just now by calling it that. Only because I'm just kidding. Only because like I would say no. Anime is so intrinsic to their culture. It's part of their culture. Right. So like I don't think they see animated film like anime as a solely adult thing there. It's very much like kind of just cinema to them, right? It's like it's very much how we see our cinema as just kind of for everyone. I mean, of course you have certain movies for certain demographics, but the fact that it's animated, I can see what you're saying. Like the fact that it's animated may tailor itself to sort of like trigger, it's immediately for children more than it is for adults, right? It's cartoons, right? I don't think that's the case with anime in Japan. I think it's very much like it's seen as for everybody, whether you're a child or an adult, because it's just so affected the culture so much ever since. And at least that's how I see it. But again, please, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the way I see it.
Please do.
So
yes.
I would say no. That my opinion was that I would say no. That it's very much like for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think. Well, I'll ask you about that. Like the way that do you feel like when you watch this movie, just the themes that it tackles and the way that it tackles it, do you feel like it's made for children? Do you feel like it's sort of there's a good middle part of like it's kind of just for everyone? What do you think?
I think it's for adults, really. I don't really think kids could find much enjoyment in it other than the animation.
Right.
I think the story's too complex for children. Maybe I guess we define what
I don't think you're wrong in saying that.
It's a hard story to follow.
It is definitely not. Yeah.
Switch, and he's got to drink the rice wine.
Oh,
is that?
God. Yeah.
Oh
well,
it's
fermented. Like rice, fermented. Yeah, it's like fermented
she gets
alcohol.
mad at him and stuff, which is very funny. Perfect touching my boobs too. Oh, damn, I know you did it. I only did it once. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not a perfect protagonist, but
Right. Yeah.
But it's endearing. They're young.
It's super endearing. But yeah, I think it's more for adults actually. So it's interesting that this. It's just interesting to me as a guy who's just watched his first like Japanese animated film, like that it's a pure animated film made for adults. Like when you get animated films made for adults here, you get stupid crap like Sausage Party. But
oh my God.
You get really dumb stuff like that where it has to go super raunchy and ridiculous,
Yeah, in order to like really hit that crowd. But you don't get like a
that is pretty rare. Movie. Yeah.
That is pretty rare to have like a raunchy animated film too. So I get why they launched it into there. But yeah, you're right. It happens more than not, I think.
Yeah.
For sure. I think the closest animated movie that I could say was American that got very like really treaded for children and for adults was like Shrek. That is, I think, one of the most masterful tightrope walks between a children's film and an adult film I've ever seen. It's so great. It's so good.
Yeah.
But it's obviously this movie though is actually more. It's mature. It really is. It has a maturity about itself. It's not silly. It's not pandering to I think either particular group. It's just like this is trying to tell a story, right?
Yeah.
But it just happens to be through this medium.
Insane. This movie was insane. So
yeah. Well, what else? Well, here. Well, before we go into some things that we all still like, because I think there is still so much to say about what was great. Were there any cons? Was there anything about that you were like, oh, I don't know, I like that, or kind of just fell off for you? Was there anything that you sort of like, that's interesting?
I don't think there was anything like big that I didn't like. I mean, maybe I could say maybe this is a cultural thing. I just didn't fully understand the dislike of maybe I wanted a little bit more of the father-daughter relationship. I know we got the little kind of throwback where the mom dies, the father says, no, I'm not doing this. And it looks like there's when Taki's in, Taki's name is so easy to remember. I can't remember the girl's name.
Mitsuha.
Yeah. When Taki's in Mitsuha's body and she's trying to evacuate everyone from the town and she's yelling at her father. He like sees something in her eyes, and I'm just wondering, did I miss something? Has this happened before? Is this, or did it happen before? Because it almost looks like he knows that it's not his daughter. He's like, who are you? He even asks that to her. And I just would have liked maybe a little bit more, but I can guess you want to keep the movie under 2 hours, and it was well paced and really kind of everything else was really well done. So it's just a minor thing for me.
No,
it's me personally.
That's a fantastic question, because I feel like they don't really forecast that moment, and so for certain people it may be like, oh, why did he react that way? Because they also don't really interact too much, right? Like there's that's not a callback to something that happened earlier. The way I would explain it off, culturally speaking, I do think at least a part of it is cultural, is that, culturally speaking, Japanese women are, in almost all Asian cultures, like they're seen to be supposed to be, more traditional women. They're supposed to be subservient, more or less, like more calm, more, not really aggressive, you know. So in that moment, I mean, you have your daughter yelling at you. And not only is he her father, he's a respectable what is he exactly? He's not the mayor, but he's like running for office or something like that. I forget.
He is the mayor. He's the mayor.
Is he the mayor?
He's running for re-election.
Yeah.
Because remember,
right.
There's so much. There's like other parts where they talk about, nothing's going to change because he's corrupt or something like that.
Exactly.
Which also I didn't fully understand either. But it's not great about the movie. Keep going.
So there's that too. You know, he has that. He has a bit of an ego. So he's like up there. So to see that his own daughter is like sort of, you know, yelling at him in this moment, I think just takes him aback. Culturally, like that's just like kind of like a no-no. Like that's a huge no-no to do.
It's like a cultural thing. Then.
You would typically probably, again, you correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure you'd get slapped in the face, right across the face before you could even get your sentence out. If you were a
sentence finished.
A woman, not even a woman, like you're a girl, right? You're like a teenage girl. Thinking that you can talk to your father that way is like, just like, whoa, you know? So there's that. But there was a moment before too, where like it is Taki and Mitsuha's body, and he kind of notices that like it's a little off, you know, that's not his daughter. So I think it's, I think it's a mixture of both of those. He's seeing this like sort of mature woman in front of him, and he doesn't exactly know what to do, you know, plus she lost her mother. So there's probably that too. I know that's my explanation for it. But it's a great question. Okay. Yeah, I do think that's actually that was a part of the movie that's like, I think we could get lost sort of in to anybody who's sort of new to that. So it's good. That's a good one. All right. Anyway, I don't actually think this movie is particularly perfect either. I actually have some cons where, narratively speaking, I'm like, I think I would have wanted more of that. So one of my cons is that as much as I love the montage, the sequence that I'm about to talk about, I kind of wish it wasn't consolidated into that. I wanted more of it a little bit. It's the montage in the beginning where they find out, it's immediately after they find out that they are switching bodies, and now that they
like agree to it.
Yeah, they agree to it. They have to figure out how to deal with each other's lives and leaving notes on each other and writing in their diaries. That's also, I felt like they had to establish that montage was for that, but it also kind of had to establish that that's when they were sort of falling for each other. But I don't know if I got the falling for each other that hard in that montage, because like after that, it's like when Taki realizes he sort of likes her, and it's like, that was like, it was so quick. I wish that it took the time to build out that like their relationship a little more than just like a montage. I felt like that was a little too trite for me. I still felt it. I still felt like they ended up because, you know, when you're in this weird situation with somebody, of course you're going to fall in love, but I felt like it relied on that trope a little too much. And I kind of just wish that there was at least one extra scene where like they sit down and they kind of like, there's that moment where they're like, oh man, I kind of like this. I like this person.
Fully realize it.
I'm kind of falling for this person.
Right. That makes sense.
I don't feel like I got that moment.
Maybe they could have just tossed that in the montage.
Or maybe toss it in the montage, But I don't know if there was a moment like that. Maybe you saw a moment like that, but
I definitely didn't see a moment like that. I did. I think you kind of just
have to take it.
The audience is expected to take it and go with it, and expect that these two people will fall in love with each other. I think that's what it was supposed to be. I do have a question though. For the fact that our gripes are more about adding more to the film. Are they really gripes? You know what I mean by that? Do you know what I mean? Like, like are our gripes with the film about giving us more? Are they true gripes, or are they just like, we want more from it?
Maybe you're right.
Now I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, wait, maybe
it's always a good note to say I want more. It's always a good note to say like, well, I just wanted more of that.
Give us more of a montage. Give us more of this relationship, because everything was. Good. Like nothing was bad about it. Inherently bad about it.
It's not a huge violation.
More about it, right?
It's not a huge violation in my. It's just
discussion.
It's a small thing that came to my mind. I was like, man, I like kind of just wish I. No, but that's a great question. Like, is it really like a problem? No, I wouldn't say it's a problem. It's just like a little thing I had. But it is a good problem to have for sure. Like that is like the major thing I had. And then the only other like little thing that I was like, I wish I had a little more of that was I guess all the relationships with Taki, but I did love his what's her name? It's the waitress that she worked with, Miss Katsuhiko. Was that?
I think that's it.
Yes, Katsuhiko. or Miss Teshigawara, one of those. But I thought her sort of like becoming friends with him immediately. I don't know. I thought that was a little quick too. There's a slight like bit of imbalance there where I was like, oh, I think that could have used a little beat too as well. But again, just very, very minor gripe. I think all the pieces that had to come together to sort of get the point across ended up coming together. So
yeah,
that's just like, you know, I try my best to sort of be as critical as I can because I do it with other movies. But those are just like tiny gripes. Overall, I just love the story.
Yeah.
So, well, other than that, like any other parts of the movie that you really loved? One of the things that I love about the animation in particular, that is like, I think second to none that I would say is the water rendering. Like anytime there is like tears or rain or just
the tears.
It's some of the most
crazy,
beautiful water, animated water I've ever seen. I don't know what it is because I don't draw.
Animator.
But whoever can explain to me why I'm so allured by the way that the water is rendered in this movie, please tell me. It's gorgeous. It's just absolutely, there's something so alluring about it. Anyways, that's like one of the best things that I take away from the animation. It's just like that water.
I completely agree.
Awesome.
The one thing that I just like, I want to have as like my background on my computer now, which I'll probably do, is the comet hitting. Like the colors, the comet, like I know this thing is like a super dangerous thing and it ends up destroying an entire town, but like, why does it have to be so pretty? Like why, like look at all the colors on it. It's just something that like, because like you have the flat black sky behind it and it's almost, that's straight 2D animated. And then you see the layer of the 3D animation within the comet and you're just kind of like, holy cow, that is, like you just said, second to none, because it's just insane how, you know, beautiful it all is. Other things I liked about it, dude, while we're on the animation, all the landscapes from the cityscape to the mountainous area when they're going through their travels trying to find I'm so sorry. Mitsuha, when they're trying to find her and they, you know, obviously they run up on that very, very big, you know, pull the rug out from under you moment. But like it's all of the landscapes and everything, like it makes it look like it's just one of the most beautiful places in the world. And I'm sure Japan is one of the most beautiful places. I've never been. I'd like to go one day.
Absolutely.
You know, Ed's gone a few times, but like it really is second to none because again, it is that 2D animation, but it has that 3D effect of like actual layering.
There's that depth.
And depth, that's the word, yes.
You just don't get.
All the depth that you don't get with the 2D, and it's just kind of like, you just can't take your eyes off of it.
Yeah,
and it's like the best thing I can say about it. You just can't take your eyes off this movie.
And it's hardly the first animated film to try to merge both, right? But I think, honestly, they have it tuned so well, it really is like the best I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it really cares about both at the same time, and they just really try to find that perfect balance to like not take you fully out, but actually put you into the like the landscape and the scene. It's just, I don't know what it is. Again, I'd love to watch the behind the scenes on it because it's just there's something about it that like hits you on a deeper level where you just like react to it in that way. You know, it's much more art at that point, and you're just like, wow, they have something here. This is like really truly.
Another
incredible
thing that I absolutely just adored about this movie was the musical score, the composition. It was like, so this week we just talked about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and I panned the film because of how many licensed tracks there was in the movie. It was too much for me. I wanted to hear the Guardians theme. Here, every like beat is like beautifully composed, and then when it's not, it's really taken aback, and then it has such a good like Foley sound design. You feel like you're like immersed in the environment that is taking place in the movie, and like the score is just phenomenal. And all it did, this is gonna just really kind of put me out there, but it made me want to go boot up Breath of the Wild and I guess Tears of the Kingdom coming up, because all I could think about was like the musical track and the score, and I was like, I guess like Nintendo is the closest Japanese thing I have, and like Breath of the Wild is really the closest to anime I've ever encountered with.
Sure.
Which that might be sacrilege to say that. But,
No.
But it just made me want to go jump into that world again and be immersed in the world, because I forgot how beautiful the soundtrack was in that game, and it kind of reminded me of that, and it was really, really fantastic. The composition was just insane.
Absolutely,
everything was just insane.
The music is completely memorable. Like that one, that simple piano line that plays is just like, it's I will remember that forever now. Like if anybody were to play it, I'll be like, that's fucking From Your Name. It's so simple and yet like quaint. You know, it's just it matches the movie so well. It puts you into that mood where you're just like, it matches both the like the gorgeousness and of the environment and of the nature that you're seeing, but also heightens the drama that you're experiencing. It works for both really, really well in this strange way, you know, like, because this thing that's about to happen is horrible. It's just, and it's so sad. The whole thing is just so fucking sad. And yet it like it almost like evens it out. When you hear that score, you're just like, everything's okay almost. Like everything that was about to happen is supposed to happen. Right. Exactly. All right. So I wanted to ask you to jump off of that.
Sure.
I wanted to ask you about the ending. What did you think about how it ended? Because I remember when we were doing our review for Alice in Borderland, I brought this movie up because I the meteor. It's I immediately thought of Your Name. I was like, wow, that pulls kind of a lot from Your Name.
And I hadn't watched it obviously by then, right? Yeah. Okay.
And so like the meteor theme and but also like the time dilation, and also the fact that at the end the two protagonists, they don't end up remembering each other, right? And they meet up, and I think in this one, I think it's safe to say that it cuts beforehand, but I think it's safe to say that they will remember each other.
Yes,
but I think that's one of the gripes, kind of had like minor gripes, was that in Alice in Borderland that they didn't remember each other, so you were like kind of frustrated about that, like they sort of. Where does it go there? What did you? How did you think?
So I think there's a fundamental difference. So in Alice in Borderland, obviously, there's the meteor. Spoiler alert for Alice in Borderland.
Spoiler alert for Alice in Borderland.
There's a meteor, and they don't remember each other. But they spend so much time together, and they don't remember anything, and that bugs me a little bit. Like I wanted them to like. They end together, right? But that really bugged me because they spent so much time together. These are two people that have never actually met.
Right.
They've never actually... There's one meeting with them, and that's it. I guess two if you count the magic hour meeting. But one meeting on the train where it is 3 years in the past, and he has no idea who she is.
That's crazy, girl.
And he tries to like get her name and walk away, and then life pulls them apart. But yeah, for me, I'm happy with the ending here because it is a happy ending, and it does seem like they do get together, and like it's okay that they don't remember, because there's that moment. Go back to the composition. There's that moment where they're passing on trains, going separate ways, and then there's like that that magical like musical note where it goes, and then like it connects. It's them, and then they get off and they remember each other, and they're able to get each other's names and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think this one is okay. I'm okay with this one.
I figured you would have been happier with the way they handled it this time.
Yes,
that they actually
much happier.
I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. Like when you put those two next to each other, it's like, I definitely prefer the way that this sort of ended. It would have been nice if they sort of had some sort of like at least a hint of tie to like that they remembered each other in some way, but they like really don't at all. And it's like there's some poignancy to that too.
There was some like tie that they remembered each other, right?
Yeah,
like the thing, the yarn, the thread that connects them.
Well, I mean, wait, I'm talking about Alice in Borderland.
Oh, my bad.
That's what I mean.
Part.
No, sorry. I meant
Alice in Borderland was annoying to me. Yes.
I think that
was the only part I didn't like about Alice in Borderland.
Yeah, exactly. I see, again, I gave it a pass on that, but I feel like putting them next to each other, I'm like, I see now, like, oh yeah, I mean, they could have definitely handled maybe that a little bit better than that.
Because of everything they had been through in Alice in Borderland together. This makes more sense. They never actually met each other. This makes more sense.
Right,
they don't actually know what each other looks like, really.
Sure.
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 So yeah.
Okay, so I want to go into, and again, since this is your first sort of trek into Japanese cinema, I wanted to get your take about, okay, so looking at sort of, and there's so much more to go, but just based on like this movie, how do you feel like the filmmaking sensibilities are, and maybe the possible tropes that you picked up on in Japanese anime kind of compare to what we've seen a little bit in Indian movies? And even just American movies. I would just want to see
Indian movies.
I don't know. It's like, did you see similarities? Anything? I mean, just
similarities in like, it does seem like, so you kind of hinted to me that there's going to be these like musical breaks, not the same as an Indian film, clearly, where there's a whole dance number.
Yeah.
But it does seem like there's clear breaks in stories that help kind of transition the acts, which I like personally. Because like my password to things that don't matter has something to do with alt rock. You know, it's great. You know, I love it. You know,
like how you danced around that really quick.
I was like, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't do that. Just kidding.
No.
Gotta go change all my passwords now. But no, I like live that life. You know, so like when I hear those songs, I'm like, yeah, youth, woohoo.
I'll say this. I mean, you're going to hear a lot of that because even till it's 2016, this movie comes out in 2016, probably made over the course of like 2014, 2015, way for sure into the 2010s. Japan loves that time of music. They love their little, their piano scores, their sweeping piano orchestrals, and late 1990s and early 2000s rock. Yeah. They love that shit. That.
Yeah, I was like,
it's gonna be everywhere. Don't worry.
I was like, yeah, let's go.
Don't worry. It's gonna be everywhere for
Let me
everything
go get my
that
skinny
we want.
jeans from the from the closet.
Wrap around my call it button down shirts around my waist with my rib.
Jesus, yeah. Put the belt not on the belt. Like
there we go. There we go.
Like make sure it goes around your butt. You know. That was the stupidest. Like, I don't know why people did that. But
I love how it brings me back to that time. Yeah.
Back to your question. Clearly there's like similar tropes, I think, with the musical breaks and stuff. Obviously, very different music. And then I think the second thing I've noticed that I like immediately thought about was it does seem that, obviously I'm going off one movie. It does seem that so much more care is given to composition, and composition in all ways. Like the score of the film, the composition of the camera, even 3D animated, you got to put the camera somewhere. You have to pretend the camera somewhere. Editing, so much more care seemed to be given to that than American movies, just based off these. Again, maybe we started it too high, but that to me is where it seems, because like with the Indian films, it does seem like more people care about it. It's less of a machine. I know there's people in the comments that tell us, no, it is a machine, but it does seem like more care is given to stuff like that and thought about it and time taken. Like this movie took 3 years to make. Yeah. You know, like movies don't take 3 years to make in America. They take 6 months. They're pumping them out. They're trying to get back out. You know, it takes like 3 months to film a movie nowadays. So it's
sure not.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice to see care given, and like you don't talk about editing in an animated film. Like the editing in this was fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like, there were so many beats of like really thought out cuts, and I don't really know how. I know like they'll do previs and they'll have a GFX editor kind of edit the sequences together, but everything was just so like thought out. And another thing with Indian cinema and this that you can make a comparison to, there's no wasted shots. Everything has a point. Everything has a movement. Everything is intent on something. It's intent on taking you to the next scene. It's intent on driving you through the story, which again, in American cinema, there's a lot of stuff that's not like that. And like everything's always moving, which is really nice to me and refreshing to watch. So yeah, those are the two big comparisons I can make at this moment.
Absolutely. No, and I think they're great. I think you're on something there for sure, 100%. I think you'll see that sort of go a thread will sort of come to light there as we keep going. One of the things you pointed out that I thought was so that a lot of people point out about this movie that they really is a big talking point in terms of the animation too is the camera movement. A lot of people call out the camera movement in Your Name, done by this particular animation studio, because again these it's a mixture of 2D and 3D. So there are sweeping shots where you're seeing 3D animation lends itself to doing a really complicated movement because it's 3D. That's literally what it's for. But like to mix that with a 2D either plane or background and have that work in tandem, insanely hard. I mean, I don't think I have to explain too hard about like, well, if you are each frame is another drawing and you have to think about parallaxing that with 3D animation.
Yes.
That's so freaking, the attention, the tediousness of that act alone, it's just like, I don't think any artist would want to do that. But when it's done here, it's incredible. Like you just almost don't even notice it. And it's that part of the animation style is also is really praised for that in this movie. And
very impressive.
It's like, really fucking awesome.
Like the only really thing you can say is it's just so impressive.
It really is.
Like the camera work, like you said, is just,
and it's not overused. I would say, you know what I mean? It's used when it needs to be. Yeah. I think it's easy to get carried away with some directors who sort of find a new thing, and like when they nail something, they're like, "Oh my god, I'm going to use that in everything."
Right.
And like you overuse it almost, Zack Snyder. Yeah. So it's nice to see that like they use it. They use it very sparingly. They use it only when it accentuates what they need to do. And so I again, hallmark of a great director. I love Zack Snyder, but come on, let's be honest.
The City of Dead or whatever that fucking movie was called. What was it called? Land of the Dead.
Who gives a shit? That movie sucked.
Where they go into Las Vegas.
Yeah.
All I could look at was the dead pixel in the camera.
I could not. That is one of the most like. How did none of y'all catch that?
Well, he was a cinematographer on it, so like it's his job to know that.
That's what I'm saying.
I guess the first AD should have probably seen it.
How did you not?
Whoever's
you're dead right, bro. He was also like the cinematographer. He's also the director. You should have caught that. I'm sorry.
It's a dead pixel. Like if I can see it, what are you doing? Like damn well you could see it.
I'm telling you, man. I don't understand. I don't know how you go to you come back from dailies. Oh, I don't even know if dailies exist. You just have to look into the camera to the digital camera.
What are you talking about? You're just
go
looking
into the clip. Yeah. And be like, oh shit, that's a dead pixel. Like, yeah, we need to redo that.
Yes.
It was throughout the movie. That's where I'm like, what the fuck? Anyways, we're getting sidetracked.
Almost makes you think he did it on purpose because that's the type of auteur he is.
I don't know, man. Like, whatever. Anyways,
we got sidetracked.
I think we talked a lot about Your Name. Any closing thoughts on this? On the movie itself? I think
on that movie itself. No, I mean it's fantastic. I just
number one on your Japanese list.
For now, yes. For now, we'll see where it goes next.
Okay.
I know he has a new movie that's out in theaters.
Suzume. Yeah, Suzume. Yeah,
I should go watch that. It's nice that what's nice about these films, all of them together, is that I haven't watched any trailers, so I go into it knowing nothing. Yeah, and it's actually so much better. And I really should stop watching trailers for American films. Maybe I'll enjoy them more. Like we haven't seen a trailer for like a proper trailer for Dead Reckoning, the Mission Impossible 7.
Oh, that's true.
We've gotten that one trailer where it's just the musical score over it.
Montage. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and him doing a bunch of crazy stuff. I don't think we're gonna get a trailer.
I hope not.
I hope so too, because I'm very excited. I've seen enough. Excitement levels more through the roof because I put that next to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which we've gotten like 6 trailers for, by the way. And Olivia next to me, like Indiana Jones is her favorite folk hero of all time. She looked over to me and she goes, "Something's missing.
Something doesn't feel right." Yeah,
it doesn't feel like indie. Like it, and again, like everything looks cool, like visually, but something's not there, and that's what I think. There's just been too many trailers.
I would agree with her.
But yeah, something's not there. Indie's going to be an interesting movie, right.
But trailers, no trailer, no trailer watch.
No trailers, but yeah.
I think
other than
for
that,
sure
just,
exercise more.
What should we watch next?
Yeah, what
But,
you want?
and how do we get a Japanese crowd to watch these?
Yeah, guys, help us out. If you obviously we want your thoughts, but send us your Japanese recommendations. But also, hey, if there's like people who love Japanese films who are like, you know, live and breathe that stuff, let's get them in there, and let's get to that 1K, and let's see if we can keep going, and let's see if we can branch it out to even more countries that are doing like fantastic freaking filmmaking. We're all for it, man. It's the reason why we're even doing this. And like, so expect this. We're going to be pumping out more. We got Indian Tuesdays, Indian Cinema Tuesday. Indian Tuesday sounds weird. Indian movie, even Cinema Tuesday.
I say Indian Cinema Tuesday. I
Sorry. Japanese movie. I guess this might come out on Thursdays now. But we're so for it. So, and we thank you again. We can't thank you guys enough. But let's just keep doing this more, and have some more fun. So we hope you like this. Like and subscribe. Hit that damn bell. Make it ding, damn it. And we'll see you on the next one. What, you didn't like that?
I thought that was a little aggressive. Make it ding, damn it. That's weird.
I don't know. I thought it had like a ring to it.
Oh,
hey,
good job.
We will.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah, we're done. Fuck that. We're done. See you guys later.